Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Coin Drop podcast, episode number 97. Is that right? 97. Yes, 97. Yesn't. Mike joining me once again as we navigate the changes at Coindrop. Things are going to continue to be a little wonky around here for a little bit, but we're going to make it work. Things are going to happen. We're going to make it work. Stop flashbanging the audience with your camera, Mike.
Apologies.
Yep. How's your week been? What have you been up to?
Oh, man. This has been my first week doing all of my routes solo.
Right.
And holy shit, is lifting that stuff hard. Fortunately, so I guess for context, I lift lead line cases, and they house... And my lead driver described them like this. They look like pipe bombs.
Yes, I love it.
It's a tungsten steel case that's about the size of what a pipe bomb would be. But it's filled with chemotherapy drugs.
Yeah. So, radiation.
Yeah. So 3 of those by themselves is like about 80 pounds, like just the actual like rods themselves. Then you put that in a 100-pound lead case.
Mm-hmm.
All of this week, I kept getting 3-packs. I kept getting triples, except for Friday. I actually got like 2 singles and a double, and I was like, the comparison between getting triples all week and then getting those, like I could chuck them like shock put if I wanted to. Like my shoulders feel like they're getting like that strength back that I used to have from high school, but holy shit, does it hurt?
Yeah. Well, make sure you lift them with your legs, buddy, not your back.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Weren't you supposed to have like a hand cart for that shit, or did you?
Yeah, so they gave me one that I could use until I buy one.
Gotcha.
They didn't give me a specified time of like when I have to buy it, but it's basically just like it's a fold out hand cart that looks like the ones at Home Depot that like it has the handle and then like the flat bed.
Flat cart. Yeah,
it's a flat cart. So okay. I've just been using that. Folds up nicely. Sits right in the back of the car, no problem. So, yeah.
Cool. My week has been a lot of cramming. I found out that I was behind on school. There were some... Yeah, there was like 7 quizzes that I... Luckily, like the school is very... This class, electrical is very... Like, you're gonna get it done when you get it done kind of thing. But it's very unstructured, which is not helpful for me. So I realized that like I was doing these quizzes, but they were like combination quizzes of like a couple of chapters. Each individual chapter also has their own quiz, as well as a triple pack quiz, right? So I was only doing the triple pack quiz, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just do the next one or whatever. I was 6 chapters behind. So I had 8 quizzes to do and 8 chapters to reread. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I was cramming that in. Capacitors, let me tell you, I don't fucking understand them. But they're great for audio equipment. Yeah, they're
every time I've set up any sort of subwoofer configuration in any of my cars, I always put a capacitor somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be like just everything from amplifier to microphone to kickers to subs. Like you need capacitors basically everywhere in that fucking system. But I don't fucking understand them. I don't get it. So that's something I'm going to talk to my instructor about probably on Monday. Be like, hey, so tell me
what fucking
what fucking do? Because how do what do? It doesn't make any sense. So anyways, I've been trying to absorb that. That's been a nightmare. And trying to also fit in some marathon playtime in there because, with my brother working at Bungie, he earmarked one of his 5 alpha codes for me, but it was very clear that Sony was doing something weird with the way they were doing the alpha. And while they were giving every developer 5 family and friend codes, they didn't necessarily guarantee that all 5 of them would access, I guess, was the vibe. But from everything that I've seen, they all did. So I've been playing it. And we're going to talk about that on the Patreon side. So if you want to hear about our thoughts about the Marathon Alpha, which, I mean, if you do, awesome, thank you, because like you can get that anywhere. But if you want specifically my point of view as someone who's a little bit closer to the project and has a little bit more knowledge, not necessarily insider knowledge, be very clear, my brother is very tight-lipped, but like more understanding of how development has gone, what it's been like on the inside, what the game is, what they have done. If you want direct information, I can give that to you. And I'll tell you this one for free. I will tell you this one for free, Internet. There is not a single piece of code from Destiny in Marathon. And I'll give you a second one. I'll give you a second one for free. They had to break the engine to make Marathon work. They had to break their own gaming engine to make Marathon work. So not a single piece. It was actually easier for them. It was actually easier for them to completely rebuild from the ground, not rebuild, but completely build from the ground up Marathon than to take any asset, any animation, anything from Destiny and put it into Marathon. So everything that is in Marathon is uniquely Marathon, regardless of what people say it looks like, what it feels like, what they think. I can tell you for a fact it is not true. So we'll talk more about that over there, though. One last thing before we jump into the podcast, make sure you check out patreon.com/coindroppod, where you can hear all that information for $3 a month. That's it. You get extra content, talk about upcoming games, all that kind of stuff. And, well, unfortunately, Friday came and went. And the individual who won our annual giveaway did not reach out to me. So, Mitt, I messaged you twice. You were at your computer when I messaged you the first time, because it said you were playing Warhammer, or not Warhammer, World of Warcraft.
So classic, yeah.
Sorry, buddy, you missed it. And so we spun again on Friday, and a winner was found and announced and contacted, and it's now Sunday, right? Saturday. Jesus Christ, my weekend's all messed up. It's now Saturday, a full 24 hours plus some after I messaged the individual to contact us, or tag the individual to contact us, and I have heard nothing from him. So it's entirely possible we're going to be spinning the wheel again next Friday. Maybe we'll be able to give away a game. Dude, I didn't think giving away a game would be so damn hard. I gotta be honest.
At this point, just fucking give it to Beasky. I mean,
I'm just going to pick a winner at this point. I'm going to fucking just be like, hey, you're active. Here you go. Like, yeah. Like, pin the tail on the fucking... I guess.
Wait a second.
Brzezinski, bro. He's Polish. He's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. We're all fine. I'm a Jew. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Speedrun 2025. How quick can we get fucking canceled?
You can't cancel me. I pay for this shit. There's no one to cancel us but me. Oh, shit. Any rate. Yeah, that's where we're at. Hopefully I don't have to spin the wheel again, but if the individual who won doesn't reach out to me by Friday of next week, we'll be spinning again Friday. So that's where we're at. Let's talk about some games.
Sure you don't want to play Break the Fuck?
Before we jump into that, we have kind of an interesting last topic, and I want you guys to bear with us as we talk about it, because it's initially our last topic on the free side is not going to sound like something that you might be interested in. Yeah, like it's just bear with us, all right, and hear us out, all right. It's nothing controversial by any means, just an odd topic in general. But before we get to that, let's talk about a couple of upcoming games, because we have a few here. First on our list, Mike, we kind of stumbled onto this one looking for news earlier today because, well, there hasn't been a whole lot in the wake of Claire Obscura announcements, or releasing, excuse me, and the shadow drop of Oblivion, which, funny enough, came out literally the day before our episode did. So if anybody's listening to last week's episode going like, what the fuck are these people talking about? That was recorded the Saturday before. So, yeah, it wasn't out yet, but like, obviously when you were listening to it, it was, so, you know, and I want to just, I think it was right, on one of the things where, like, I think you had mentioned that somebody leaked or said some nonsense about it having Souls-like combat. I think it's pretty clear that was somebody throwing shit at the wall, hoping it'd stick, because it looks exactly just like Oblivion. I don't see anything in it that looks...
It's jank.
Yeah.
It's just prettier to look at.
Prettier jank. Speaking of jank, man, shout out to the Spiffing Brit. I fucking love that guy. He did a playthrough of the original Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And he made an incredibly broken one-punch character that I really want to make. Yeah, he one-shots every freaking thing in the game, including the two main bosses of the game, like the final DLC boss or expansion boss from Isles of Shimmering Isles, as well as Daedric himself. He straight up one-shots them both. At level 1, bro. At level 1.
Bro, wow.
I'll put the link in the description to his video, and we'll just give him some free publicity because it's an impressive video. It was very fun. I was like, I want to make this build.
All right, when you make the build, you also need to make your character literally One Punch Man.
Yeah. I think he called him like One Punch Un or something like that, or Un Punch Man or something like that. It was something like that. Anyways, we're talking about a game that's very similar to Oblivion and Skyrim. This is a game that's been in alpha for at least a little while now. Not entirely sure how long. It is called Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon, and it looks like a dark fantasy love child of not really Castlevania in gameplay, but in style, if that makes sense, with Elder Scrolls style gameplay. So like the theming aesthetics of like the dark fantasy that you get from Castlevania is kind of what you see in this game. And it looks really fucking good. And we're talking about it because it comes out in just a few weeks, actually a little under a month away. May 23rd, it falls out of early access and gets its 1.0 launch. But I've talked enough to start this off. Mike, what were your thoughts on the footage of the game?
I
put you on the spot, didn't I?
No, I'm kind of indifferent because like everybody is trying to follow the Elder Scrolls blueprint at this point.
Yeah, it's either Elder Scrolls or it's Dark Souls, right? Like or Elden Ring, I guess is more. Souls. Yeah.
I mean, even Elden Ring is just fucking Dark Souls.
Yes.
But like it's like Avowed being the most recent, like prior to this game, Avowed being the most recent example of like it. I feel like the game that we got wasn't what I expected initially. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just I'm tired of everybody just doing the Elder Scrolls thing.
Yeah.
Granted, like, a lot of them are doing it way better because
with a lot less jank.
Yeah, and they're not relying on the fucking modding community to fix it. But it's one of those little niches of the industry that I've definitely gotten bored of. So like I have Xbox Game Pass, so I played Avowed for like an hour, and I was like, all right, I've seen everything there is to see. Like this, it's the same thing as like every other fucking Elder Scrolls game at this point.
Right.
They just change the story or whatever. So I feel like this game could be good, but I don't see myself playing more than 2 hours of it, just because I've played so many of the same fucking games.
Yeah. It's the gameplay, like the setting, the combat, the way the game plays is all like it's all the same, right? Like the gameplay loop, I guess the best way to say that. It feels the same, right? You're in a big open world, you run off in a random direction, find some shit, explore, travel through a dungeon, kill shit, loot shit, explore, get a quest line, go over here, kill shit. Like it's a very similar loop all the way through, no matter what version of Elder Scrolls you play, or whatever, not necessarily clone, but game inspired by, right? Like I kind of try to avoid using the terms clone now because it's like, well, it's not. Somebody worked hard to make this game, regardless of whether it's very similar to another.
Yeah, and there's a difference between a clone and just something that feels like it's the same blueprint, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that. Remember a while back, I think Tim had actually brought it up. That there's a company, a development studio that is taking games from Steam and then porting them, quote unquote, to the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox consoles.
And
Switch.
And
the Switch.
Yeah.
So they even did it at one point with, I think it was The Last of Us Part 1.
Yeah.
There was a very Last of Us Part 1 looking character and environment that was like published all over fucking Reddit.
Yeah.
And that is straight up a clone. Like there is no fighting that. What I'm specifically referring to when I'm saying like I've played this before is just it's following the same blueprint of the Elder Scrolls series. And again, not necessarily that it's a bad thing, but like even Bethesda's doing it to death at this point.
Yes.
Fucking Starfield.
Starfield.
Yeah. It's just Skyrim in space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was honestly like what you're saying now is something I said years ago. So Bethesda, when they took over the Fallout franchise, they made Fallout 3. For those of you not old enough to remember, Fallout was owned by a different company before Fallout 3. That is not a Bethesda title. They bought it and made Fallout 3, which everybody was like, oh, the skin's great, it's amazing. Got so much hype. And arguably it was a great game. To me personally, it got overhyped because I was coming off the curtails of Oblivion. And so I went from Oblivion to Fallout 3 and was like, what the fuck? This is Oblivion with a post-apocalyptic skin and VATS. Like, it felt very much the same thing. It felt the same. And, you know, there's not inherently anything wrong with that because it is a different game, right? Different story, different setting, different characters. But if the gameplay loop is the same and it's not what you're expecting or wanting, you're not going to enjoy it, right? And I think that goes for kind of Avowed's thing, right? So circling back to Tainted Grail, this definitely has that vibe. It has a first-person play style where you wander through with magic and sword and sorcery and archery and stealth and all the skill trees and everything that you would expect from this genre of game. The thing that makes this different and stands out is the setting. Is that's really it. That's the big thing. Is the story and the setting is different. And in my case, that matters more to me than how the game actually plays, personally. I care more about the story and the setting and the atmosphere than I do the gameplay. As long as the gameplay is enjoyable, I'm for it, personally. That being said, Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon does have a free demo right now on Steam. If anybody wants to try it out, it's there. It's free. Download it. Check it out. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't cost you anything. You don't like it, you don't like it. You do like it, maybe you buy it, right? It is not a premium price. It's $44.99 right now on Steam. There's a chance it goes on sale for the summer sale after the release of 1.0. You never know. So maybe keep an eye on it because they're on patch 0.09 called the Once and Future King, which is their current patch. With that, right now, go over kind of what's accessible in the game. The prologue and Act 1 are playable, and they're finished to about 95% polish. That's roughly 20 hours of gameplay. It's pretty reasonable for an alpha, I would say. For $44, 20 hours of gameplay is pretty reasonable. There are still some bugs, right? It's still an early access. The Tainted Grail is going to be highly replayable with branching narratives that allow you to make multiple choices to how the game ends, right? Obviously, this was made popular a long time ago. There's a couple of games that have done it before. The one that's done it the best has been Baldur's Gate, right? So since then, most games almost feel like they have to have multiple endings, and I have mixed feelings about that, personally. Kind of good, kind of bad, right? Like, it gives you replay value, but for somebody who's also a completionist, it kind of makes it feel like you have to replay it. And to put that in perspective, once this game is done, they'll have 3 acts, and it'll be about 50 to 70 hours of content. They've also said that there's going to be about 12, at least 12, because they've said at least a dozen different endings. So take that time and multiply it by 12 to get all the endings, guys. That's a lot of fucking time in one game. So that's a lot. Yeah. It is mostly, if not fully, voice acted. Again, I can't 100% say. They do say that they've got 250 unique NPCs that are fully voice acted. I don't know if that means like other just random townsfolk or, Stranger B is going to have a voice. Or if they're just going to be like some regurgitated line like, I used to be an adventurer like you, and then I took an arrow to the knee, like, for the priest of the kingdom.
You. And I throw this fucking joke into the ground.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Like, who knows? Who knows? But there's at least 250 uniquely voiced NPCs in the game, which is really cool. Saves will be wiped going into 1.0, which makes sense, right? They are very, very clear on their Steam page that saves will be wiped.
But is there going to be a single player game?
It is, yeah. My guess is right. So again, I like to go with this one. You change the color of the grass and it breaks the sky, right? That's one of my favorite like developer things there is. that everything is tied together so deeply, especially in UE5, which I'm guessing this is built in based on the visuals, the lighting, stuff like that. It definitely looks like it's UE5 using Lumen and things of that nature. Could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. It's one of my favorite things because it's very true, right? Like everything is so closely tied together and dependent on each other in game development now that it sounds like, oh, well, you should be able to just move that save forward. Well, yes and no. Maybe that armor you're wearing, they've completely rebalanced and rescaled. And now that save file is conflicting with the existing version that you have with the existing version that the game now has, right? So like
one punch build is so overpowered that it breaks the map.
Stuff like that, right? Like maybe they found bugs that they need to fix that you're exploiting. You know, there's a million different reasons for why this would be. What I appreciate is that they're very to the point forward with it, saying it will be wiped. There's no question. There's no miscommunication. It's very clear, and I appreciate that personally. Currently, I don't know if currently is the right word here. This might be, so this just comes from Games Press, says it's game highlights. I don't know if this is currently or after 1.0 release, but there's going to be, if there isn't already, 200 plus side quests, which is a lot considering the main story is 50 to 70 hours of gameplay. So I guess you're inflating that, or maybe that's including all the side quests. I'm not entirely sure.
70... Well, does it specifically say main story, or is it just like including?
So the way it's phrased on their Steam page is, upon final release, Tainted Grail will have 3 acts, bracket, around 50 to 70 hours of content, bracket, including main quests, including a branching main quest with multiple different endings and tons of side quests. So I guess that would be all the content. Who knows?
Yeah.
But 200 plus side quests, more than 60 unique enemies, 70 plus dungeons. It's a big game. And this
sounds like it.
This is from a developer that doesn't have a big history. This is from a developer called Questline, and if I'm not mistaken, they are a Polish company. Let me see.
That makes the beginning of this episode even more offensive now.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, listeners, he said he was gonna reach out to the dev and be like, "Hey, we talked about your game. They're gonna play it, and the first thing they're gonna hear is fucking Polak."
Yeah, yeah, that's probably bad. Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. I love the Polish people. Their sausage is great.
Yeah, now you suck up to them, huh?
Look, it's all in good fun. All right. Yes, they are a Polish indie studio called Questline. Yeah, the game looks great, honestly. That's really all I've got to say on it. Tim might have other Mike might have other thoughts. What are your thoughts? Hi, you're Tyke. You're what? Tom. You're Tom. That's who you are. You're Tom, right? I'm just losing my mind. I'm just losing my mind. Ignore me. It's fine.
For those of you that don't know what the fuck I'm referencing, go to our YouTube channel and type in 2 idiots meme. It'll be there.
Yeah, that's honestly like a great supercut you did of all the just that's a great supercut. So
holy shit. But yeah, the game does look pretty. I do want to know more about the story itself. So like, I'll kind of do what you do and give it at least an hour.
Yeah.
To grab me.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, then because it's supposed to wipe in 1.0, then I'll probably go back to it after 1.0 and see if the new content is actually like worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it. Yeah.
It looks like you can choose gender. So you've got male or female as a gender you can choose. I don't know how much beyond that you get in character customization. I didn't see anything for character customization in terms of like facial stuff or body stuff, but you can choose.
It's also first person only, so it's not.
I don't know if it is, because there's plenty of screenshots that are in third person. So I don't know if it's going to have.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to have the Skyrim jank where your head doesn't turn and your body does when you go to.
Running into shit.
Yeah, trying to climb up a mountain in third person or whatever, crazy stuff. But there's a collector's edition that comes with a super sweet statue of their version of King Arthur that is literally standing on a pile of corpses. So very cool. Like this is like, I almost want to say Fantasy Warhammer, but that actually exists, so I can't say Fantasy Warhammer. But this is like Warhammer 40K if it was like fantasy, if that makes sense. Like it's super heavy plate mail armor guys and just gore and death everywhere. So
isn't Warhammer fantasy anyway?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yes, but like they're also still like, if you play Vermintide and shit like that, they don't have big, heavy, honking armored dudes, right? Like you've got Vermintide. Yeah. I'm saying like this is if you took 40K and had the big, honking armored bastards, like aesthetically, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. You get what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh shit,
we're just a couple of pros. 97 episodes into this. 97 episodes. Yeah, that is Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon. Looks cool. Don't know much about the story, but it's been in early access for 2 years, according to Games Press, and early access ends on May 23rd. So if you're interested, check it out. Link will be in the description for the show notes and things like that, so you can find out more there. Moving on, gonna try not to offend the rest of the audience of this show. Ghost of Yotei dropped a new trailer and announced some information about their collector's edition as well as digital deluxe. New trailer looks really solid, like really solid. They clarify at the top of the trailer that it is a mix of in-game and cinematic, and I gotta be honest with you, I can't tell which is which. Like they yeah. Even with Ghost of Tsushima, at least on the PS5 version and like the PC version, like it's pretty damn close. If you turn the UI off, it feels like a fucking movie. Like there is no difference in lighting between the cinematics and the actual like gameplay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for it. I'm already sold just based on how Ghost of Tsushima was.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready. Like give game. Just put it in my hand. Just game.
I think we need it.
And
I think that's going to have to be our new slogan. Coindrop pod, give game. We're gonna take a picture of you, Mike, and rasterize it and put it on a shirt, and it's gonna be like the Obey shirt with Jose. Whatever his name is, but yeah, it's gonna be you gesturing your hand, and instead of obey, it's gonna be give game. Yep. That's exactly it. Just the first thing that came across my mind when I saw this trailer is like, oh, this is what Assassin's Creed was trying to be, because like it establishes that there's a leader of these bandits that basically kill your family in this trailer, and it's like the kitsune, the dragon, the spider, and it's like, oh, okay, like yeah, all right. So
I'm down.
Yeah.
I don't foresee any reason as to why I will dislike the game. Although there is the one feature that they talked about or that they showed in the trailer that I'm really interested in is the flashback thing. You can just
that was interesting.
Activate it whenever for some reason, and I'm curious to see how that mechanic is going to play into the present timeline. Are they going to do it like I
don't think it's timelines. I'm guessing it's just like memory. I don't know. It's a very interesting.
So when I say timeline, I think of I can't think of the name of the game right now, but there's this game where basically you go back in time to complete puzzles. So like there's a section where like the hallway is just.
I'm pretty sure that's Time Shift.
Maybe it is Time Shift.
I think it's time.
But the hallway is like on fire and like collapsed, and you just shift back in time, go through the hallway, then shift forward in time.
It's not Dark Sector. I think it was Time Shift.
I think it is Time Shift. It's something.
Yeah.
But like, if that's kind of what they're doing, of like the flashback is part of what you need to solve the puzzle, then hell yeah. But if I can go around and just cheese the whole game with the flashback thing, then maybe not.
I doubt that. I highly doubt that. Yeah. I don't see that being likely. There's a little bit of information I want to touch on here. Thought I had it pulled up. I do not. Damn it. Okay. So Ghost of Yotei takes place 300 years after Ghost of Tsushima, which we know. So Gen Sakai, long past. It's very unclear whether or not the new protagonist has any actual connection to Gen Sakai, or if it's just another story in the same kind of idea, right? So at the beginning of the trailer, there's a word. I want to hear it so I can. Unreal, which is probably the most worst translation of that because I'm white. That the voice actress for the protagonist. Look, man, I acknowledge what I am. Okay. So looking up what this is, it is actually a vengeful spirit. Putting it in Western terms, the nearest idea of it would be basically a revenant. It is a Japanese folklore spirit that is, let me read it directly here, refers to a vengeful spirit, a type of ghost in Japan folklore that is bound to the earthly realm due to a strong desire for revenge or a sense of injustice. So that's the vibe, right? Which is also very much the vibe of Gen Sakai in Ghost of Tsushima. In fact, I think there's a lot of theories out there that actually say that Gen is 100%. An Oni.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense for Gen. So I'm glad we're still sticking with this whole vengeance, revenge kind of anger thing, right? Also, Lord Saito is called out by name, which I believe he's a historically accurate character. Let me do a quick Google search. Lord,
I don't remember.
Saito. I believe that because this was, if I remember correctly, this one is like taking place not necessarily in the midst of the unification of Japan, but like, yeah. So during the Edo period, Lord Saito led a group of outlaws known as the Yotei Six. Saito and his gang killed the family of Atsu, and he personally pinned her to a tree with a katana. This is taken off their wiki, so I don't know if this is accurate, like real world accurate.
I hope so. It's on their wiki.
Well,
I see what you mean.
Yeah, real world accurate, right? Because that's what they're doing. They're taking what Assassin's Creed used to do and taking historical fact and adding some fiction to it, which is what made Assassin's Creed cool in the first place. Ubisoft, get your head out of your ass. So they're doing that. But
Ubisoft getting their head out of their ass? It's like unheard of.
Yeah.
Right? What?
No.
What are those words? You put them together in a sentence?
I did.
What is that?
It's a sentence. So we're getting another story of revenge. I think it's going to be told significantly better than whatever Ubisoft did with Shadows, which is unfortunate. And
this is coming from someone who likes Shadows, being me.
Yeah.
It's very. I got one of the first vengeance win thing. I don't even know what the hell they're called right now. In the actual menu, they're called something. Whatever the name of their
contracts?
coalition is.
Oh, okay, yeah, gotcha.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I got one of them done, and I've played maybe 20 to 30 minutes at a time since then, just because do one thing, repeat for the next 20 fucking people.
Yeah. It's wild to see that game was delayed as much as it was, and it's still incredibly repetitive when they said they were going to do their best to make it not repetitive. I don't like.
I guess if you do one contract, switch to Yasuke, do one of his, then switch back to her, and then switch back to Yasuke and go back and forth, then it's not repetitive, but it still has repetitiveness to it.
That's kind of how the Assassin's Creed games works. I finished Assassin's Creed 2, I'm on to Brotherhood, right? So I'm working my way through them all. And the nature of the game is in the title. You're an assassin. You kill people. That's kind of a repetitive thing.
No way.
I don't know what to tell you. It's gonna be fucking repetitive. Lean into that and make it repetitive and fun. Don't try to make it not repetitive, Make it interesting. Dude, the first Assassin's Creed was great. There were so many different versions of like how you could approach a problem. You could like there were scripted ones too, where if you tried to assassinate them, they would run and you would have to chase them, or it would be an ambush. Like it's going to be repetitive.
That's
so
what I liked
lean
about
into
Mirage.
it.
Mirage brought that back.
That's cool. I'm excited to play that one.
Different ways to get your mark.
Awesome.
And if you fuck up, they run away. It doesn't just fail. They run away, and then if they get too far,
then you fuck up.
It fails. Yeah.
But like that, lean into that idea, and it feels to me from what I'm seeing from Ghost of Yotei. There's also they showed us some new combat that we hadn't seen before. We saw her use I think it was a naginata, it might have just been a spear. I'm not entirely sure. And then she used the I don't know the proper term for it, but it's the hand scythe that they use for harvesting. It's a farmer's tool. It's the hand scythe, and they have it on the chain, primarily used by shinobi after
Oh yeah.
So she used that at some point. So we're getting some new combat besides just katana and stances, which is really freaking cool. They also hinted at matchlock rifles in the first trailer. Yeah, she has
makes sense.
Yeah, she had
300 years after.
Yeah, she had a firearm. So it's the Edo period. So that's like Western influence is coming across the ocean in one way or another. I was about to say something. It was probably not a good idea. I was about to call back to our Lovecraftian.
No.
Lovecraft's writings coming across the ocean.
No.
Yeah, I'll leave that one in the past.
Shut your mouth.
So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be great. I'm really hopeful. Well, I know it's going to come to PC at some point. I really hope when it does, it comes over well. Speaking of games...
Yeah. I also have a PS5, so like you can just make a fucking profile on it.
I mean, are you going to be living here for 4 years, bro? Because like, I mean, it's not 4 years. It comes out when does it come out? October 2nd.
So. Why did I think it was coming out like in May?
No. There is a lot of stuff coming in May though. There's some big stuff happening in May.
I'm not planning to be. So
right. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe I'll just tell you to come over for dinner sometime and bring your PS5. But no, it looks really good. It's one of those games where like, man, this is a console seller for sure. Like, if you don't have a PS5, this would probably be a good reason and a good time to pick it up. So,
yep.
That is Ghost of Yotei. I don't know. Mike, do you have any other thoughts? Any other theories? Any other...
Give me the game, dog. Like, I'm ready.
Give me the game. Put me in, coach. Well, moving on. We're going to shift gears very hard. We're going to downshift and power slide into this one because we're going to talk about a truck. This just became a vehicle podcast. We're talking about vehicles. Truck. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to talk about this truck. You might have seen this. Mike told me this is blowing up all over Facebook. There is a new auto manufacturer that is called Slate, and their truck is called Slate as well. Now, again, bear with me here. You're probably wondering what the fuck this has to do with video games. This truck is designed to be customizable the way you build a PC, in a sense that you buy literally a blank slate. Funny, clever, good name for a company, good name for a truck.
The truck is also blank when you get it.
Yes, the truck is the truck is... It is it's a small truck. It is a single cab small truck. It is smaller than a Ford Maverick in its truck configuration.
Size?
Yes. Well, configuration, right? So like the thing about this truck is you personalize it and build it. The truck itself is an electric vehicle. So it's an electric truck. It's rear wheel drive. I'm trying to find the stats. Where the fuck are the stats? While I talk here. Stats. Where's the stats?
The specs?
Yeah.
The measurements?
Yeah. Well, like, I saw fucking, what the fuck? Where'd it go? Summary? Is it under summary? I'm on their website. Yeah. And cut in that music here.
I mean, I can't because we'll get copyrighted the fuck out. That's why I only did like 2 seconds of it. If I do 4, we're fucked.
Fair enough. I can't find the side of the page that I was on that had... Here we go. Okay. C-specs. There we go. Okay. So to give you an idea, this is an electric truck. It has a single rear motor. And in the standard battery package, it'll do 150 miles per charge or 240 with the extended battery. But it's a small truck. Like, there aren't a lot of these anymore. One of the most popular one in the 80s was the Toyota Hilux, was incredibly popular. And this is tiny, right? And it's customizable. And it's not customizable in the sense of like, oh, I have to do all the wiring and stuff. Literally, parts disconnect like a GPU out of your freaking computer or a bit of RAM, and you slap in another one. It's that modular. It's incredibly cool. And the company has said that they're going to make, they've already planned on, I think it was like 300 or 400 different accessories that you can swap into this thing to literally change it from a truck to a single to a 2-door SUV that sits 5 people. I put this in air quotes because the middle seat, you're gonna have to be like anorexic to fit in that thing. But
you have to be like the size of Maury.
Yeah, it's definitely a kid middle seat, but it is 5 seats, 2-door, little SUV. They got meaty tires if you want to off-road. They've got a rear spare tire carrier you can swap in. They've got different headlights. They've got different canopies. They've got roof, like just tons and tons of customization. And the best part about all this is if they can meet their goal of what they're advertising the MSRP at, it is $27,500 for the truck. Which, I don't care who you are, $27,500 for a truck is a damn good deal. Granted, it is electric, and it can't tow for shit, and it can't haul for shit, but that's not what this vehicle's for. If you want that, you get a big truck. If you want to tow something big, you get a big truck. If you want to be able to do shit like, I need to pick up some drywall this weekend, it's only 500 pounds, slap that in the bed, take it home. No problem. Right? It'll haul up to 1,200 pounds, 1,250, I think, haul in the bed. And
I think it's 1,200, 1,250, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Here we go. Max payload. Max payload is 1,400 pounds. Towing capacity is 1,000 pounds. So you could do like a dump run with this thing, right? Or you could haul a bunch of gear, give it some meaty tires, give it a little bit of a raise, get a roof rack on it, throw the canopy on the back with the extra seats, and boom, you've got an overlander, right? And it's tiny, dude.
Hashtag van life.
Basically, like, right? Like, I mean, theoretically, you could put the shell on it, not put the rear seats in, and build it into like a sleeping rig back there, right? Mm-hmm. So, overall length is, I want to know what this is in feet because this sounds fucking tiny. The front end to the back end is 74.6 inches. 174.6 inches, not 74. 174.6 inches. That is 14 and just shy of a half feet long, or just over a half. 14 foot long.
So the bed is about
a bed length is bed length is 5 feet. Cubic volume for the bed is 35.1 cubic feet. And the front can hold...
Perfect size for a redneck hot tub.
Yeah. I don't know that I would trust water in an electric truck above where the batteries are.
You put the tarp in it, and then you put water in the tarp.
All right. I mean...
what do I got to educate you in being white trash? Like, what the fuck?
Look, man, I wash my paper plates. You don't got to educate me on anything.
My mistake, sir. I didn't know you were that poor. Holy shit. Bro said poverty? I thought that was middle class.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So, again, like, I know this is probably a weird topic for a gaming podcast, but as somebody who also loves automotive and cars and vehicles, this thing's really fucking cool, and it's got some serious potential if it can come in at that price point. Because if it does, theoretically, all of this on theory and hope and dream, right? That means that after the federal tax return or tax break for buying a electric vehicle, that makes this $20,000. So even cheaper after that federal tax return comes back for buying an EV. So just think for a second. This is a new vehicle for $20,000. A new truck. Granted, I'm not going to entertain the arguments of if it can't tow, it can't be a truck. Now, fuck you. It's got a bed. It's a truck. And yes, before we get into this, El Caminos are a truck. Fucking fight me.
I was about to say.
Subaru Baja, fucking truck. Fight me. It's a truck.
Oh, fucking Christ. Holy shit. All right.
So what are your thoughts, Mike? What do you think of this thing?
I have thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of told you upstairs off screen. It's I immediately go to back when Dodge tried to reboot the Dart.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many customization options for that. Like literally like thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands different customization configurations that you could make for your Dart to make it like your own little personal, grocery getter. Because the thing weighed as much as a fucking Challenger, but it had like half the horsepower. And the idea itself was good, but Dodge fucked up by not allowing direct to manufacturer purchasing.
Yeah.
So you had to go to a dealer. So if you want the fucking GT package, but you want a longer acceleration ratio or like different, am I thinking the right thing? Yeah. There were so many different things that you could change from the base package, and what dealerships end up doing is they would charge you like a fucking a customization fee because they had to order a new car.
That's lame.
And you ended up paying $10,000 or $20,000 over MSRP for the Dodge Dart, which if I'm going to pay $20,000 over MSRP, it wouldn't be for a fucking Dodge Dart.
Not for that Dodge Dart. I'm paying for the old Dodge Dart, which was a Mitsubishi 3000 GT, but that's besides the point.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like if they do this right, they can nail it, set a standard, hopefully, for the future moving forward.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm hoping for is maybe depending on how they go about their copyright and patents and things with their accessories.
Mm-hmm.
In theory, there should be nothing stopping me or you. My camera totally just died.
It sure did.
I don't know why. So I guess I'm just going to be empty now.
You'll just have to slap a picture of yourself up there.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So I don't see a reason why they wouldn't eventually open up the blueprints, at least the specifications, to make your own accessories. So let's say down the line they don't make an off-road accessory that you were saying that if enough they said if enough people want it, then they'll make it.
Right.
Let's say they decided not to do it at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
They could still just be like, let's just fucking open source the
open
actual
source car. I'd be down for that. That'd be pretty wild.
then we can go and fucking print or make our own framing, however they intend to do that, because we're also at a point where we are 3D printing with metal.
Yes, and carbon fiber. And carbon, that's the big one to me, carbon fucking fiber printing.
Yeah. So I think it has promise, but I'm also definitely, especially when it comes to early adoption in the fucking automotive industry, of all industries, I would wait, me personally, I would wait to jump on it until I see it off stage.
Sure.
I want to see it on road. I want to see it not necessarily in person, but I want to be able to go to YouTube and
see reviews, see what people are thinking on it.
Does a fucking review on it for some reason, or whoever ends up getting the reviews out first, after driving it for a month.
Yeah.
I want to be able to get someone's point of view that isn't just marketing BS.
Right. Speaking of off stage, right? So this vehicle's slated for release, I think next year is when it becomes available for purchase, late next year if I'm not mistaken, because I believe they've said the slate is going to be a 2027 model year vehicle. So that means it's coming, I think, fall of 2026 if I remember how manufacturers do that stuff. But early adoption, we've talked about it a couple of times on the podcast, right? It's one of those things where it's well, if not enough people adopt, there won't be a Gen 2. But if too many people adopt and it's trash, there won't be a Gen 2, right? So like it's a really weird spot to be. But this truck is I want to be clear, this truck is super bare bones. There is no power anything in this car stock. You roll down windows in this truck, which you can buy later on a kit or add it on later or whatever to add power
keep
windows.
That fucking retro crank.
Oh, dude, I love it. Personally, I love it. Hell yeah. One less electrical system to deal with. I'm all for roll down windows. Fuck yes. It doesn't have a sound system at all, but it has a phone charger, which I have questions about because it looks like it's a stock like set width, and I'm really hoping it's not, and it just looks that way. But it has a phone charger plug-in, and you got seats and a steering wheel, right? And everything else is modified after, which is really cool because it's not like with my Xterra, right? There is a bit of like, okay, I got this part, now I need to do the work to tear this apart. When I got my new cold air intake, prime example, right? I had to tear apart the internals of the engine, rip the air intake out, throw the new one in, figure out the fitment, align it, blah, 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 blah. You don't really have that. And not just because this is an electrical, but like headlights, same thing. I want to replace the headlights on my Xterra or figure out what's going on with it. These on the freaking Slate, they literally just pop out. You undo them, pop them out, and throw new ones in from the manufacturer. And like you said, it is a ton of kit, but it seems like the only way they're going to be selling this vehicle is as the base truck, which comes in slate gray in a truck style, and everything else is bought afterwards. So I think it's a really cool idea because it allows people who are interested in vehicles and want to learn how to work on vehicles. It's like baby's first automotive truck, right? Like, there's literally like Allen screws that are I think they're painted black. They're probably protected with anti-corrosion, but they're visible on the body to literally make it easy to pop these panels off and just like it's
do your own thing.
Yeah, it's really cool. And your idea of like, man, if they went open source at some point and just like, here's the specs for things so you guys can start building your own shit. An open source vehicle, that's fucking wild. Like, I mean, arguably you can do that with most vehicles, but like having direct from manufacturer information on like, hey, these are the specs that we built this for. So theoretically, we're not going to do, say, for the overlanding community, because anybody who overlands or does any kind of rock crawl knows that like entry and departure angles are important. Smaller tire size or tire ratio in terms of like width or length, is important, right? Like smaller is better at climbing than longer. Could you imagine them being like, well, we're not going to build like a sway bar disconnect system, but here's all of our data, everything you need to know about how our front differential works. I guess this one wouldn't have one because it's rear, but anyways, like giving that to the community so that they can modify and manufacture those parts. Because you're right, we are printing in metal at this point, or even just going to a machine shop and being like, hey, these are the specs I need, and having somebody custom build it to you, right?
Or that could even be a prime example. It's a rear-wheel drive truck. So unless they themselves are planning to make an option that is, you can convert it to all-wheel drive, it'd be fucking cool guy on them if they decide not to do that, but they still release the specifications that if we wanted to go and do that ourselves, we could.
Yeah. That'd be great. I would love to have the specs to be like, hey, this is how the rear end's built, and this is how our suspension works, and our battery and our motor. Figure it the fuck out. Like,
so do it again.
So do it again in the front. Like, I'm cool with that. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of really fucking cool potential with this truck. And that being said, I did go ahead and reserve one. It's only $50 to reserve on their website. It's slate.auto/ well, I mean, it'll direct you, but it's $50 to reserve, and whether it's refundable or not, it's $50, right? So like, it gets my name in a hat to talk to somebody about it and maybe potentially see one and test drive one. Like, I'm not big on electric vehicles, but as somebody who drives a 4-liter V6 and has to fill up every fucking week and spend $60 at the tank every fucking week, grocery getter, pick up my kid, come home, go to school. This thing sounds fantastic. And I can park it fucking anywhere. It's tiny. So I'm definitely interested. I'm highly considering getting one. And they look cool. Like, they look just cyberpunky enough that like they're on that line. They're not Tesla truck. They're not ugly, but they almost look like a Bronco, but also it's not a dumpster. It almost looks like a Bronco, but also definitely very clearly has its own design in it too.
It honestly kind of makes me think of the old school like European import Range Rovers, the super just blocky fucking ugly, kind of like fugly looking ones that have their own appeal to them.
I fucking love
like
those
smaller
ones. I love those ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it looks freaking cool. Is the bottom line. I recommend you guys check it out if you're interested in automotive at all, even as a passing like fancy. Dude, I can't think of another car right now that's base MSRP is below 20,000. Like maybe some Kias, but the reality is like technology has gotten to a point that it is so ingrained in our vehicles. There are so many, and let me tell you, I'm learning this shit. There are so many electrical systems in cars nowadays that like it makes sense why they're as expensive as they are. There is cameras and sensors and monitors in every tiny bit of your car.
Yeah.
So like
cameras now are standard.
Yeah.
The way cars have gotten, the blind spots have gotten bigger. So now cameras are just like, you want a base model car with a fucking crank window, you can get it, but guess what? It's still gonna have a backup camera.
Yeah. 100%. It's wild. Like to put it in perspective, dude, some BMW headlights are actually sealed in a hyperbolic chamber that is the actual housing, and when the bulb goes out, just the bulb, you have to take it to a dealer. You cannot take it anywhere else, otherwise it voids the fucking warranty. You have to take it to a dealer, and it's $600 for a bulb. Like,
yeah, there's like when I had a Dart GT, it's when is it 2015, 2016 model. The one I had was equipped with the style of brake lights called the racetrack light. So if you think of like Dodge Challengers, and how at night they have the light bar that goes all the way around that kind of traces the trunk lid and part of the fenders. If one of those bulbs went out, doesn't matter if it was on a taillight, the fucking trunk, or the other taillight, I have to take the entire fucking system in to have it replaced. If the trunk light goes out, I can't just replace the trunk light. I have to take both taillights and the trunk light in. And even if it's like one fucking LED.
Nope.
Yeah, it's just like it's a give and take.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it looks nice, but like, holy fuck.
Yeah. I just think about it, right? So like $20,000 on a loan for a car for 5 years. It's not a whole lot. Like that payment's pretty manageable.
Especially if you're like just graduating high school or just getting into college, and you're like, you have no credit.
Right.
That's more doable than a $30,000, $40,000 loan on a fucking brand new Kia.
Or even try like the other side, right? The flip side is the used market is insane, right? The interest rates for trying to buy a used car, you're almost better off buying a new fucking car because the interest is going to be like 12 to 50%.
Yeah.
It's insane. So a new car that you'd be able to get that's an EV that you're going to get a tax break on, so you're going to get some of that money back, which, I mean, if you're smart, you can just turn around and put it towards what you owe on the car, right? Unless you're hard up for cash, which, you know, I get it. But, dude, I'm definitely interested, and I can't wait to find out more about this truck. So that's kind of what I've got to say on it. Thank you guys for dealing with us as we nerd out about a truck. But as a PC builder, and Mike, I think you can kind of relate to that too, right? As a builder, like,
yeah, that's satisfying. Just like it makes me think, like, whenever I build a computer and I'm putting in like the RAM and the GPU, it makes me think of the old Nintendo 64 cartridges when you just click them in,
give it a little, and then slap it in.
Yep.
Yep.
Spit on it and slap it in.
which I believe most of the cards specifically say not to do that. Specifically.
At one point, everybody fucking reprinted and said, "Do not blow on cartridge."
Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Even though that's what fixed it every single time.
Yeah. That sounds right. Yeah, so that's the slate, the truck that is going to potentially carve out a really big niche that really we haven't filled in the automotive market, like at all.
Yeah.
So it's going to be cool. I'm interested to see how it does, how it sells, things of that nature. But speaking of sales, not sales, sales.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
It sure is, buddy. Speaking of sales, you get a cookie. Claire Obscura, Expedition 33, launched technically, unfortunately, in the wake of Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, remake, whatever you want to call it. But it didn't hurt its sales. It actually reportedly sold over 500,000 copies. And it just came out, right? Like Oblivion Remastered dropped, and Claire Obscura said, "Hold my beer." Granted, Oblivion sold phenomenally too, but that's not what we're talking about. This is one game that a lot of people in our community have been very interested in. I haven't gotten a chance to play it. It's one that
I literally just came across it like yesterday, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
It's one that's on my list. I definitely want to play it. I don't know if I'm going to get to it anytime soon, but yeah, good for them. Happy the devs sold really well. I'm sure as soon as Oblivion dropped, they were probably like, fuck, and just expected their sales to go through the shit or something. But yeah, happy to hear
fuck,
it.
Shit, fuck, shit,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. Actual audio recording from the devs.
Live in the studio as it goes live on Steam.
Right. So it sold really well. I'm happy to hear that. I'm excited to see what comes next. So Dune Awakening, we touched on this briefly 2 weeks ago, last week. Postponed the release of their game till June. Well, they're also announcing, God, I cannot word tonight, man. I'm just they're announcing a large-scale beta for the weekend of May 9th to the 12th. So I don't know if it's open, but if you're interested in playing Dune, that might be something worth to watch. Dune Awakening.
Yeah, worth to watch.
Worth to watch. Look, man, I'm fucking tired. I don't know what you want from me. Yeah.
Just like the adults from the Peanuts.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. Last but not least, more news coming in May. PAX East, May 8th to the 11th, Crimson Desert has announced that they will be doing a showing and giving potential players a chance to play the game. So there's a better than average chance that we're going to see some gameplay off screen or otherwise come out of PAX East for Crimson Desert. I know Tim was really interested in that and very excited for it. Personally, I think it's just too many sparklers. I hope they've dialed back the particle effects because, God, there was too much. But that's just my opinion. That is going to wrap it up for us tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining us and listening to us and continuing to support us in whatever way that takes shape or form. Mike, any final thoughts before we head over to Patreon and discuss some Marathon?
Yeah. Tell your mother I said truck.
Give truck. Give game. Have a great night, everyone.
Truck game.
Truck game.